Remember this dress?
All the pretty girls walk like this, 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 this.
You may not have noticed, it actually has a tear in it. Michael is gonna come help us fix it in the sewing studio.
We have one piece of fabric that's fraying a lot. So the first step is actually doing a zigzag stitch so that we can stop this from falling apart later on. And I'm gonna push the fabric back and use only the piece that is actually ripped. And I have my machine set to do a zigzag. And of course you can do this by hand if you want to, if you don't have a machine at home, but this is really nice to actually get a clean stitch done on it. Up, and you can see how it's kind of stitched the edges to hold that from fraying anymore. Kind of pulls it together. Now that I've done that, I'm going to lift the presser foot and I can cut the threads. The next step is getting rid of all these little extra threads that are kind of sitting here and getting rid of any of this little fraying that we don't need. So I'm just trimming things up a little, make it nice and clean on the inside. Now, this is a pretty small tear, so I'm not going to pin everything together, but if it's a longer tear, you're gonna wanna take pins and hold that together nicely. I'll leave that one in to start. Now I'm taking both layers of fabric, the one that I zigzagged on and the one that needs to be attached to, and I've pinned them together, and I'm gonna put both layers under the sewing machine. Now I'm gonna lower that presser foot. And now, because I'm doing a seam, I'm actually going to do a straight stitch to put it together. And the whole time I'm just making sure that extra fabric isn't underneath. And you may get a little pucker here or there, but it won't be too bad. I stitch forward 2 or 3 stitches, and then I'm gonna reverse because that locks it so that it won't actually come undone. And now I just go forward again. And I'm getting pretty close to the edge on this, about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm gonna run this through a second time, a little further in. And when I get to the end of the tear, I'm gonna reverse again and lock it. Gotta release it. There we go. And let's just make sure this stays together and run it through one more time, about 1/8 of an inch over from my first line. Forward, backward, and then forward again. And I'm gonna go down, and so you'll see that this is the original seam right here. I'm going to stitch until I match that. Reverse, and pull it out. And now I can take just a moment to clean up some of these extraneous threads. And now you have a new seam, all stitched. And we can look on the inside. There's the seam fixed. See, I said you get a little pucker. It happens. but it's repaired. What we're doing now is we've already stitched it up, but the fabric is really kind of easy to fray. So we're gonna use something called Fabric Fusion, or you can use Frayed. There's lots of different brands, and she's going to run it along the edge where it frays, and this is just gonna give a little extra stability to that new seam that we created. If you need to do mending like this, come to our open lab at the Orlando Public Library every Friday, 1:30 to 5:30.